Welcome, friends. It's time to get your cacao ready and settle in as we join for another episode of Megan Hopper Presents The Cacao Crowd, where we'll connect to heal, empower, and learn to love ourselves a little more each day. Welcome, everyone. It's another week, another Thursday evening, and we're all together. Maybe we're having dinner together. Maybe we're having a beverage together. I don't know. You do you. I have water, but it is ionized water, so, it's special. But somebody was telling me the other day they can't meditate. I hear it a lot. A lot of people consistently telling me, I can't meditate. Brian tells me that all the time. My friend Emily tells me that all the time. My mom tells me that all the time. It's kind of a theme in my life because I do meditate so much in different ways. Everyone comes to me, I can't meditate. I don't know how. So today, that ends. By the end of this episode, you are going to have so many options to try and have such a better understanding of what meditating is that you'll be on your way to being a meditating pro. If that was a thing, if it was an, what is it? Judged activity? Yeah. The only person that's judging is yourself. Okay, so since the whole episode is focused on meditative practices, we're not going to highlight just one today. I know usually we start with the meditative moment, do our cacao, do a technique, but since everything is meditative today, we're just going to dive in and skip to our fun fact first, since we're going to try some of the methods all together while we're going through the episode. So, jumping to our fun fact, and this isn't the fun fact, but fun fact, I am mildly, maybe more than mildly obsessed with Harry Potter. But really, how many people in my generation or younger than me aren't? So today's fun fact comes from the stories of Harry Potter. If you're not familiar, the stories center around a wizarding community and the trials of good and evil, all the standard storylines that are in pretty much everything that we've ever read and seen and watched. But there's a trio at the middle of most of the events that occur in the series, and that's Harry Potter, Ron Weasley, and Hermione Granger. Now, people overseas may have heard the name Hermione before, but being in the US, I had not, or thought I had not. Rewatching The Nanny, I realized they actually do use it, so I had, but they only said it once, so I give myself slack for not being familiar with it. Anyway, J.K. Rowling made that somewhat less common name choice on purpose. Hermione is what you call a bookish, nerdy, more focused on her studies than most other things kind of person. And J.K. Rowling didn't want any little girls to have to take heat and be called nerds just because they shared the name of the character. So instead of Katie or Laura or Megan, she went with a very less seldom used name, Hermione. So although seeing what a huge success it's been, I'm sure that name is way more common now, and little girls are super stoked to have it and share it with her. So that's your fun fact. And like I said, we kind of skipped over the meditative moment because this whole episode is a collection of meditative moments. So we will be going through some of the techniques while we're talking about the subject matter, which is meditation. And meditation is really just a fancy word. It's kind of the catch-all for clearing out your brain to make space for happiness, fun, joy. Whatever way you do that, awesome, high five. But it's all about just quieting whatever chatter your ego, your brain, whatever word you want to use there is creating, so you can be available for the inspired thoughts to arise, and you'll be able to hear them, acknowledge them, notice them. You could use a specific method, technique, named meditation, whatever word you want to use, or just focus on things that make you happy, or do something unbelievably monotonous that literally bores your brain to death. Not like full death, but like checked out. So what everybody tends to think of when they think meditation is this person sitting cross-legged on the top of a mountain, fully silent, just with their eyes closed, oming out into the world. And that's great if you can do a silent meditation, or if you have a place that's silent enough that literally takes out every single distraction, everything that could interrupt your focus, and leave you the accessible option to create that space where you can hear those inner thoughts coming through. But nowadays, finding a space that has such privacy to it is virtually impossible, especially unplugging from everything that comes with you, your phone. So because of that, there is an extra level of difficulty to it. There is an extra kind of step outside of most realities that goes with that one. And that's why a lot of people kind of say like, well, I can't meditate. They're very fixated on meditation has to look a specific way. And we're breaking that today. Meditation does not need to look a specific way. So silent meditation is an option if you want to try it. The other thing is for most people who haven't experienced that kind of serenity that comes with meditation, that free-flowing inspired thoughts. And when I say inspired thoughts, because I realize I've said it a couple of times now, and you might be like, well, what is an inspired thought? I think all of my thoughts are inspirational. Inspired thought doesn't mean like, this sunshine is happy. It's not like a Hallmark card. Inspired thought just means something that fills you with emotion. And it doesn't even necessarily need to be a good thing. It like I say things that bring you joy, make you happy, whatever. But sometimes you have to walk through that dense, dark forest before you can get to that open sunlit patch. So sometimes that meditation will bring you into what you're ready to work with. And that can look like what we would call shadow work, or something that might bring up tears, might bring up anger. But it's accepting that, honoring it, realizing it, and allowing it to happen for you to get to that next step. But yeah, so a lot of people haven't gotten into a mindset where they've experienced getting into that sunlit opening area. So it's hard to recreate it with something like a silent meditation where you're really counting on just pushing everything else out. And that's why, yes, that one, if you tell me I can't do a silent meditation where I just sit there and zone out, okay, that's totally believable. But don't tell me you can't meditate. Another option, like I mentioned in the kind of summary statement up there, was, see, I say up because I'm looking at my computer screen so that I can look at my notes for all of you guys. For you guys back there, just, hit the back button if you need to rehear it. So boring your brain. One way to get the constant chatter, we're not in Massachusetts, chatter out of your head is to focus on monotonous activity, monotonous sound, something, I think you can see the pattern, something that's just repetitious over and over and over and over again. So setting yourself up in a room with a really loud fan, or an air conditioning system that's super loud, or maybe there's some kind of electronic equipment in your house that has some kind of cycle to it, and it just has this rhythmic quality to it. So setting yourself up where that's what you can focus on. You can count on that sound to keep having that same steady pattern, and just listen. Just hear that sound. Just anticipate that next time it's going to come up. You can do that with movement too. So I know I'm dating myself with this one, but if you saw Karate Kid, and I think they remade it, so I might be okay on that, but I'm talking about the original. So if you've seen Karate Kid, Mr. Miyagi does this all the time with the wax on, wax off, and has everybody just continuously wax on, wax off, wax on, wax off, wax on, wax off. Because that repetitious movement, you end up just getting into the rhythm of doing it. And you're just doing that over and over again. And your mind starts to wander. That's where we get that phrase from. Your mind takes a walk. It's not needed anymore for that activity. So it can kind of disengage. And that's where those inspired thoughts will come from. That's where what your heart is saying, what your gut is saying, what your inner guide, if you want to use that terminology, is saying can come through. Most of the learning in that movie was all meditative. So if you've ever cleaned your house and you've spent a lot of time cleaning the stove and you've just cleaned and cleaned and cleaned, you might have gotten into a meditative state cleaning your stove. Disturbing for me because I hate cleaning. It's okay. Then there's guided meditations, and we are all relatively, understanding of what those are. We are pretty familiar with those just because there's so many apps nowadays that do guided meditations. There's the Calm app, there's Headspace. You can look them up on YouTube. I think Aloe Moves has them on their app. And the whole thing with guided meditation, it can take different routes, but generally guided meditation, you want it to be a meditation that focuses on creating a story or a set of imagery for you to follow and gets you into a more serene place that triggers all those chemicals that release when you get into that calm space and you feel supported. So if you're listening to a guided meditation and saying, this is how I'm going to do it, this is going to be great, I just have to listen to them, it's fine. Find one that has a lot of adjectives or describing words to it that can very explicitly set a scene, so to speak, and tell you things like you're walking down a lush green pathway in the forest, feeling the roots of the trees push back against the soles of your feet, really creating this full narrative for you. Because the more that they're giving you, the more that you're going to be able to latch on to that story, focus on that story, and get out of the chatter that's in your head from whatever's been happening throughout the day. So we'll do an example. Guided meditations are something that I enjoy doing. I do a lot with my clients. So just, close your eyes, take a deep inhale through your nose, exhaling through your mouth, letting go of everything that came before. And on your next inhale, smelling fresh cut grass. Picturing yourself in a big open lawn that was just cut. All of the animals coming back out to play. Little bunnies jumping around. And what color are the bunnies? How many are there? How close are they to you? Feeling the sun overhead warming your shoulders. And looking up to see an osprey flying overhead with its big wingspan. Going up and down, riding the currents of the wind. Feeling a light breeze on your face, on your arms, on your fingers. Hearing that breeze gently tasseling all of the leaves around you. Putting your hands into the grass and feeling that almost dewy, moist quality. Inhaling again, noticing the scent has gotten a little bit dimmer, a little bit less robust as the grass starts to heal itself. And taking a big breath, feeling that warmth from the sun find its way into your center and spread all throughout you. On the exhale, blinking your eyes open and coming back to wherever it is that you are. Someone on Facebook says, I need to learn how to meditate. Well, then you came to the right place, Facebook user. Hopefully, this is helping you. Feel free to let me know in the comments if you're joining along with us in the experience and how your experience is going. So that is kind of the basics of a guided meditation. If you'll, think about it or play it back after I say this, I'm going into color. I'm going into, is it wet? Is it dry? I'm asking you questions. So you're also active in filling that kind of universe that we're creating. So it's really an activity that you're engaged in. And that's why a lot of times that's where beginning meditators end up going. Yeah. The next one is also a very active one. It's called Kinhin. There's a couple of different names that people give it, but what it comes down to is it's a walking meditation. So you're focusing on your movements. The only thing with walking meditation is that you should try to do it from a calm place. If you're like super amped up and you're like, I'm just going to walk this meditation, like we're kind of missing the point. But if you're focusing on what you're doing, then yes, you are doing a walking meditation. So whether that's saying in your head as your foot is hitting the ground, heel, ball, toe, heel, ball, toe, heel, ball, toe, heel, ball, toe, or thinking, I'm walking right, I'm walking left, I'm walking right, I'm walking left. Or even just when you lift your foot, you're taking an inhale. When you place your foot on the ground, you're exhaling. Something to make it a more mindful experience, but still something that engages your physical being. Because when you're engaging your physical being, when you're getting your body involved, it's taking you even more out of that headspace where you think you have to think. Even, when you're feeling the ground, when you're taking that step, mindfully thanking the ground for being there to support you, to catch you, to grab your foot, to, keep you able to move. So mindfully walking is a meditative practice. We did one last week. I think it was last week that we did. Oh, it might have been 2 weeks ago that we did the 4, 5, 6 breath. So for those of you that were not able to join or haven't gone back yet and listened to that, or just joining us today, welcome. Thank you for joining us. We can redo a 4, 5, 6 breath now. We're going to do a set of 3. You're going to inhale through your nose for 4. And again, anytime that you're inhaling through your nose, inhale through your diaphragm. So I'm trying to point to it. My laptop's kind of in the way. Your diaphragm is, it's down where like your hoodie pouch is. So if you take your hands and you take the tip of your middle fingers and place them on either side of your belly button, taking a diaphragmatic breath will expand your whole tummy like a balloon. And then when you exhale, when you inhale, it expands. And when you exhale, it'll contract. So instead of breathing in your shoulders, which your body feels like it's in fight or flight mode anytime that you're breathing up here, anytime that you are mindful enough to breathe through your diaphragm, it goes, wait, we have a second to think about how we're breathing. We're not going to die. It's okay. So taking your middle finger, putting it on either side of your belly button, inhaling for 4, holding at the top for 5, and then exhaling for 6. And again, we'll do 3 of those. And you can open or close your eyes. It's up to you. So inhaling through your nose, 2, 3, 4, holding at the top, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold at the top, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhaling through the diaphragm, 2, 3, 4. Hold at the top, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's it. That is a type of focused counting breathing. And you can do that with a 4-6-8. You can just focus on making sure that your inhales and exhales are consistent. Usually you want your exhales to be a little bit longer than your inhales. Again, this kind of tricks our brain, telling it, hey, you're cool, you're alive, you're going to be okay. You don't need to, just breathe in order to survive. You can enjoy breathing. So anytime that you're counting your breaths, just try to keep it if you're breathing in for 5, keep breathing in for 5. Just count them. Anything that slows down and makes your breath a conscious decision is meditative. Another one is taken from one of the most common kriyas in Kundalini. It's the Kirtan kriya. And the Kundalini kriyas in general are more active meditations with movements, with mantras. There's a lot more pieces to them. So again, it's keeping your physical body focused on something. It's giving your brain something to focus on, and it's working energetically. So for this specific Kirtan Kriya, we use our hands, and we use what's called the mound of your finger, which if you look at your finger, it goes up a little bit towards the point. That's why the tip of your fingerprint area usually has a little bump. So that's the mound. And to do this, you press on the mound of your fingers. So you're going to press thumb to pointer, thumb to middle, thumb to ring, thumb to pinky. Do it again. Thumb to pointer, thumb to middle, thumb to ring, thumb to pinky. And you always come back to that thumb to pointer. You don't go backwards. You come back to the beginning. So putting the pressure on that is activating both your pituitary and pineal glands. So you are physically, chemically, physiologically doing something with that activity besides just giving your fingers something to do, something physical. And as we do that, there's specific sounds that we're going to use. And they are sa. On the pointer finger is sa. The middle finger is ta. The ring finger is na. And the pinky finger is ma. So it's going to go sa, ta, na, ma. And what that means, the pointer finger sa is birth. It's the beginning and the totality of everything. So this is where life starts. This is where everything begins. Ta is life, existence, creativity, manifestation. This is the present. This is your current status here in this physical being on this earth. Na the ring finger, na, is death or transformation. So it's, now when we hear death, we go, oh my God, no. Death doesn't actually need to mean you cease to exist. Death can mean giving up something that's no longer good for you, being ready to move on to something greater, something more amazing. So not a bad thing. It just means endings, and endings can be good. And then pinky, ma, rebirth, regeneration, consciously experiencing the joy of the infinite. So this is, when I do those meditations that I say, and then, drink your cacao and have the energy go up towards the sky, towards limitless, towards freedom, towards all that is, all that's open. That's what this ma is. So again, we can do this one 5 times. Usually you would do this for 11 minutes if you're doing a full Kirtan Kriya. And if you look on YouTube, on Spotify, a million places online, you'll find the full 11-minute Kirtan Kriya that you can follow along with, that they'll go from saying it to whispering it, to say it silently in your head, then to whispering it again, then to singing it again. But just so you guys get it, and sometimes I'll use this one, like if I'm stuck in traffic, just to kind of get out of the, this is some BS, and into like, okay, we're good. So let's just do it 5 times. Again, it's pointer, middle, ring, pinky, and it's sa, ta, na, ma. So sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. And then if you just bring your hands to rest, facing up, take a deep breath, and feel into your body to feel anything that may have changed. Maybe you've got a little bit more space in your neck if that's where you hold tension. Wherever you hold tension, usually it kind of jiggles it up a little bit, loosens it. Your pineal, for people that don't know, because I did get a bunch of questions about that this week too, your pineal gland is right kind of like in line with your brow center or your third eye here. And it is often called your third eye. It's in line with the brow center, but a little bit further back, like in the middle of your head. So like if you were a math problem, be where these 2 lines intersect. And that's in a lot of understandings where we connect to the more. That's kind of like our little beacon, if you will. So keeping that functioning, keeping that clear, keeping that clean, and helping to activate it, always good things into getting into your intuition. So yeah, fingers, pushing them. This might be, yes. So the last one that I have for you guys today is just do something that makes you happy. Like I mentioned last time, I think I used the example of playing paintball. If that makes you so unbelievably happy and you can totally get lost in playing paintball, fabulous. That's called meditative. Anything that you go, oh, I just got so totally lost in, I totally lost track of time, because where you're not feeling like you're begrudgingly doing something, like you consistently have to force yourself to do something, where you're just being led because you're enjoying it or because you feel that you want to keep doing something, then that is meditative. If you're having a hard time figuring out what that is, because we can all get very far off course, and that's that's usually when we end up doing a million things, because we're like, I don't know what makes us happy anymore. I'm just gonna try everything. I can say that because I've been there. But there's a workbook, I guess, that I had gotten for my mom and myself, and to try to like bring the happy back and figure out what it was that was, sparking our joy. Because I think this was back when Marie Kondo was a thing. So there is an affiliate link in the show notes for that workbook. It is actually really kind of fun, if not necessarily helpful, but fun, because it makes you think back to like when you were a little kid. What were the things that you enjoyed? What was a really cool thing to do? What brought you joy when you were little? Because chances are it probably still does. So yeah, it's a good thing to check out. So now that you have a bunch of techniques and we've gone through a couple of them and you kind of know how to do them now, let me know how they go. You can't say that you don't ever meditate anymore, because I'm sure that there's something that you've gotten yourself lost in doing at some point. I know one of my friends tells me all the time, oh, I forgot to eat lunch. I was doing blah, blah, blah. And I got lost in it. Oh, that's meditative. And it paid her bills. Perfect. If you'd like to do something more in person, I do have a full cleansing rebirth ceremony coming up this weekend that will have guided meditation, sound healing. I didn't go over sound therapy today, but that is also a meditative practice. And of course, we'll have some cacao. So again, thank you guys for tuning in on another Thursday. If you enjoy, please share, comment, subscribe. And always, if there's something that you want to know more about, please let me know. Thanks.